It's that time again. Welcome to another spectacular episode of Off the Marc with, you guessed it, the Bickersteins.
We're Bickersteins. And yes, the times have changed, but we haven't. We're still bickering about who and what is on and off in the marketing world. And I'm usually right. But
you're
go
usually
on.
right. You're always right.
Yeah, thank you.
She's Kathy. I'm Marc. She's right. I'm wrong. Today's topic, though, this is a good one. This is a serious subject, but we can still have some amusement with it. But it is a serious subject.
Yes.
How do you market the coronavirus vaccine? I mean, there's so many hurdles to overcome as the nation awaits final approval of these vaccines. We're hearing about all the plans to distribute them, how they're going to get all the supply lines out, how they're going to keep it frozen at minus 98 degrees or whatever it is.
No, it's like minus 100 and some degrees. And can you imagine? And it only lasts a couple days,
No, I think
Pfizer's.
Yes, Pfizer has the frozen one.
Pfizer has a frozen
That's
one. So
Pfizer frozen. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Technical, very technical.
That's what it's down to these days. That's how I can remember almost nothing.
That's how blank-year-olds remember.
Yes.
Important facts.
Okay, so what is the plan for getting, convincing people? What is the marketing plan? How are we going to get people to take the vaccines? Let's just look at the list of concerns, and then we can get into them.
All right. Well, first of all, people perceive the rush to market. We'll talk about a little bit how the perception is a little bit different than what, how reality is a little bit different. But the perception is that this has been rushed to market, and a lot of people are legitimately concerned about side effects and thinking that steps have been skipped to rush it to market. But
and I know this is in my script later, so I'll be reading it off the script. But the program was called Operation Warp Speed.
Yes, but we'll talk about that later. Okay. I'll enlighten you. Okay. Remember, I used to be a medical reporter, so I still have a few medical facts up in my brain.
That was a subtle flex.
Not so subtle flex, and not that it's really a flex, especially being a reporter.
Because you were, after all, a medical reporter.
That's right.
And whose phone number was in your?
And Anthony and Fauci and I used to be like that. Not really. But I have interviewed him several times.
And you used to have, and in fact, we tried to get him for this podcast. And surprisingly,
he was a little busy visiting with Biden. But, I forgive him for that.
Well, he's in Wilmington, so.
Well, so there, obviously there's the perception that this was rushed to market. I think your paper's getting in the way of my face.
Oh.
That's very.
We're talking about the video portion of this, and God forbid. Okay, so what else?
And then obviously anti-vaxxers. That's been a problem for vaccines.
Which you were kind of
No, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. No, that's totally wrong. I have concern. I've had concerns about certain vaccines in the past. People don't understand vaccines, which we can get into because vaccines, it's about public health. And when you talk about public health, it's about ensuring it's herd immunity.
Okay.
And it's about saving the masses, understanding.
But that's not why, though. I mean, some of these anti-vaxxers think that, Fauci is making billions
of
dollars.
No. Those are the conspiracy theorists. Anti-vaxxers are in a different group.
Also, though, those are also people.
Yeah.
You're going to have to reach somehow.
Well,
you're going to try to reach.
Right.
Try to market to.
People right now, well, anyway, we'll get to that in a second. But another thing is you have 2 doses. So not only do you have to take 1 shot, you got to convince people to take 1 shot. You got to get them to get back there in 2 shots. So that's going to be hard.
And then there's, the after effects or the side effects of just the regular thing when you get, sometimes your arm hurts and you get a fever.
Right, but they're saying there may be more serious side effects to
the third eye, of course.
No, not a third eye. Anyway, obviously suspicion in the minority communities because of big screw-ups and tragedies like Tuskegee experiment. Those are legitimate concerns, and a lot of people are upset that vaccines are often tested in Africa, and they're like, well, why is that? Those are legitimate concerns.
So a lot of skepticism, understandably so.
Yes,
in fact,
100%. But there's also the conspiracy theories. Let's get back to that. I mean, if I read one more article about Bill Gates, secretly wanting to vaccinate the world population so he can microchip people. And people, I mean, intelligent, educated people think that there's something to this. And I'm just like, okay, so Bill Gates,
well, wait,
richest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Why does he want, I mean, he really, yes, you can move my mic. He really wants to, he needs more money and he's trying to control the world population. I mean, it just,
I'm moving your mic as you're talking. Okay.
It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I'm just like,
doesn't need more money.
He's got more money than
and I think those chips
he gives away so much money.
I think he's giving away his entire fortune.
He's truly just doing philanthropy. That's all he's doing now.
You know who was big on this? Wasn't Dolly Parton? Didn't she donate a lot of money, like $1 million or more, to one of the vaccine manufacturers so they could study it or develop it?
Well, good. She'll be needed as a spokesperson.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, but today I was just reading this because I read the Daily Mail multiple times a day. It's a good page. It's on top of everything. But this is that the Black Panther star Letitia Wright posted a video by a so-called prophet who was asking if the injection will implant 5G antennas inside people or create human-animal chimeras. You know what a chimera is?
I don't, but this sounds highly believable. But go ahead. What's a chimera?
It's a fire-breathing female monster with a lion's head, a goat's body, and a serpent's tail, which it also happens to be my pet name for you.
Well, I was born as that. I didn't need a vaccine to.
The fire-eating part, the fire-breathing part, I thought was appropriate.
I think that's appropriate. But I like to be a little bit scary.
But I mean, this is
that's insane.
Sensible,
I'm sorry.
That's insane. A sensible actress, and then she got terrible backlash from another member of the Marvel universe, Don Cheadle, who said that this was hot garbage and said he claimed, he yelled at her online and said this was effed up. But this is the kind of things that you're facing. These are the kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, well, there are legitimate concerns, and then there's cray-cray. But sadly, you're going to have to educate.
Well, you're the one talking about public health, and in public, you're going to have to get like 80% compliance here, right? So you're going to have to get to these cray-crays as well. Whatever you have to respect.
There's going to be 20% of the cray-crays that are just never going to do it. I mean, if you think you're going to become a fire-breathing dragon from a vaccine, probably nobody's going to convince you to take it.
That would be cool, though. That would be like a different shot. Would be cool.
But let's talk about what we do now. Okay. About like the facts of the.
All right, so there are 3 pharmaceutical companies right on the cusp of approval: Moderna, Pfizer, and AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca having some problems. They had to go back and retest, or they're retesting. I think it was a dosing issue or whatever it was. But they're still. I think I'd still buy their stock. Pfizer was approved last week in the UK, and the country ordered 40 million doses. The
FDA is supposed to be looking at it next week. So it could get FDA approval very shortly as well. Yeah,
Fauci, your buddy, is apologizing to his counterpart in the FDA because he said they kind of rushed it, and then he said, "I'm sorry." So
okay,
but there, yeah, I mean, you get pushback from Fauci, and I mean, that doesn't help. But he apologized, which we're not used to public officials apologizing. So.
Well, Fauci's a good guy. I mean, he's an honorable guy.
Yes.
Okay. And that's the thing. Like
yes, he would be, because he's making millions of dollars off of his stock investments.
Thus, the conspiracy theory number 120 that he is. There are definitely also legitimate issues with the way the CDC works. Medicine is.
Well, you mentioned the Tuskegee experiment. The CDC weren't they involved in the Tuskegee experiment? I believe they were.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of problems. Medicine is very political. If you think politics is political, medicine is very political. I mean, there are things that are not. There are breakthroughs that are not brought to the public because there's egos involved and people want credit, and there are people who hog information. And don't want other
AIDS
people.
The guy who helped come up with treatment for AIDS. Well, there was a whole issue there. Right? They made a movie of The Weekend without and all the.
There's a million examples of how medicine is politicized, and if you work in if you work in research and development, and it's political and there's money involved, and it's corrupted, just like any where money and lots of money is involved, there's going to be some corruption and there's going to be some problems. So there are problems legitimately historically with the CDC, and obviously the CDC has been gutted, and there's been all kinds of problems recently with this last administration. So one of the important things I think for the US is to really, the CDC was the crown jewel for the world when it came to medicine and health. And we literally went to different countries and we helped them start up their little CDCs, not CDCs, but their own name for it. And no matter what, we always were looked to first. Not this time, not during COVID. They did not, we did not lead this. The other countries' health agencies led COVID more than we did. So the CDC, I think, will regain their standing in the world, again. It's just going to take a little bit of time. But
are you working on a spin-off podcast here about like the medical community?
No, I'm just interested. I'm interested in this stuff. But also, when we talk about vaccines, let's not forget Montgomery County's own Novavax, a Gaithersburg, Maryland company that's expecting to launch a phase 3 clinical trial of their own COVID-19 vaccine in the U.S. in the coming weeks. And they also announced that it's completed enrollment in its late-stage UK trial. So 2.5, I think, of the companies in Operation Warp Speed of the companies are here in Montgomery County, Maryland, which is, if you're a Montgomery County person, something to be very proud of.
Yeah, no, there's so much
life sciences. We are in the heart of it. But this is the bad news, or some of the barriers. We all know we need to do something because COVID deaths are at an all-time high, and hospital capacity is literally being stretched across the United States.
It blows my mind that every day it's a 9/11. We have almost as many deaths as we had on 9/11, and what's being done.
Yeah, and look what happened as a result of 9/11. Look at all the changes that happened of 9/11.
Where's the war? Why are we not fighting?
Here we are. We have a 9/11 every day or every week, and it's not being taken seriously.
Okay,
but the big question is, what will Americans take the vaccine? A poll from the Associated Press and Center for Public Affairs Research.
Center, the NORC Center.
NORC Center. They found that 1 in 5 people would refuse to take a vaccine. And of that group, 7 in 10 are worried about the safety of the vaccine if one or several get approved. And then on the other hand, on the flip side, the New York Times reports that 58% of American adults said they will be taking coronavirus vaccine, according to a Gallup poll. But like you said, we need 58 or we need 80%.
80%. Well,
we need
80%, or we just need each person to get the shot. Like if I get the shot and you don't get the shot, what the hell do I care?
Well, because
other than I would care that you don't get the shot.
No. Because you have to, it's herd immunity. It's like the reason why the flu shot, it only works if you vaccinate a larger part of the population. That's how you bring it down. That's how you bring the curve down, the spread down. So if half the community are immune and the other half aren't, you're not going to be as effective at controlling COVID. So you really, in order to reach herd immunity, you need as many people to take it as possible, or you need it a lot. People who wanted to reach natural herd immunity, like Trump's last COVID guy who just Atlas who just quit or resigned. He thought we could reach a herd immunity by everybody getting sick, which if you did the numbers and looked at the current cases and the current deaths, to reach herd immunity organically, you'd have to get to 6 million deaths to make sure there was herd immunity for the general population, which is insane. So anyway, those are things that.
Back to marketing. Other than
how do you market this?
You're right. You are right. Let me just say that you're right.
Thank you. I know that.
But it's always nice.
It's always nice to hear.
Okay. Okay. So the big question: how do we market? Let's talk about a broad scale. The ad council. The government's not leading any kind of commercial enterprise or marketing enterprise, but the ad council.
Well. The government did give the states. The CDC gave money to each state, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to do their own marketing campaigns
for testing.
No. For marketing.
For marketing?
For marketing of the COVID vaccine. And this happened in October, and they got the money and they were supposed to, get their ad campaigns rolling.
How do you know this?
I know this because I have inside information.
Yeah. I think we were up for one.
Anyway, so each state got money. The problem is once again, we're marketing this on a state by state wide level, the way we're doing everything. The current administration is doing state by state, and maybe that's okay.
But
maybe
the Ad Council is doing a
right. But let's talk about what the states are doing. The states are doing.
Let's talk about like what we're supposed to be saying about like how do you do this? Like what's the message? Like I know we're doing state by state, but let's talk about.
Well, that's the problem. What is the message when you have state by state by state? Who's deciding the message? Every state is deciding their own message.
What's so wrong with that? I mean,
maybe that's okay.
I mean, because who knows better than somebody in their own state?
Maybe that's okay.
I mean, like,
but wouldn't you want some
type? Want to hear somebody with a Philly accent telling you that?
Maybe that's okay, and maybe if it's Louisiana, you want the football player that just got injured,
Drew Brees.
Maybe you want him talking about it if you're a Louisiana or some like.
Didn't he say something?
LSU guy.
That he apologized for?
No, but it had nothing to do with something else.
But no, you would want somebody like
maybe,
a sports,
maybe, but you want a coordinated effort. What if Louisiana is doing an amazing marketing campaign and they are getting success? Why wouldn't you coordinate that state by state by state? Why wouldn't you know? Like, listen, here's the marketing. This is what state A is doing, and state B is trying something else, and oh my gosh, this message is working. Why is it working? Is it working in Louisiana because it's just that particular group, or is there something to it? So in other words, it should be coordinated on some level. It's not being. That's a mistake. But
okay,
the Ad Council, like you said, a nonprofit advertising group, is running a $50 million campaign to persuade people to protect themselves by getting the vaccine, and it led to a similar effort, I guess, in the 50s, right? When it urged Americans to get vaccinated against polio. So its COVID-19 push is the largest public health education crusade in history, likely, right?
And in England, where they're already now, as we discussed, approved. I mean, they're pushing the numbers, the vaccine, saying that the vaccine could cut deaths by 99%. I think they hit something like 60,000 COVID deaths as of last week. We do that in a month. And then they're showing that this vaccine could put an end to those deaths and those tragedies. And that's more likely to boost the amount of people getting, success stories beget success stories. But also, they still are urging people the same message that we keep getting, which is social distancing and wearing a mask and staying inside if you're sick. Even after you've taken the vaccine, because it's still going to be we don't see that. We don't have the light at the end of the tunnel just yet. But what message would you hit? How would you do it? What commercials, whether you're doing a national campaign or state by state, like, what are your ideas? What do you think?
Well, first, I would say you need to educate people about how the vaccine was made. And one of the biggest misconceptions is the work on the vaccine started when the pandemic began. That is the big, and that's just not true. How they made this vaccine so quickly is because a lot of the work had been done. The world's biggest Ebola outbreak in 2014, 2016, during those 2 years was a catastrophe, as we knew, and the response was too slow. 11,000 people died, which at that time was terrible. It makes
worldwide.
Yeah, but
2 people died in the United States.
Yeah,
the Republicans shit their pants.
But the world back then, knew that it should have been better, the response. So what followed was a plan. Yes, we're not getting political. What followed was a plan that emerged of how to tackle the next big one. So at the end of that time, at the end of the list of known threats was disease X, the sinister name of a new unknown infection that would take the world by surprise. So conventional vaccines, including the whole childhood immunization program, they use a killed or weakened form of an original infection and inject fragments of that into the body, but it's very slow to develop. So it sounds sort of strange or perverse, but it was lucky that the pandemic was caused by coronavirus, that type of virus, because the family of vaccines had tried to jump from animals to people twice before in the past 20 years, SARS and MERS. So we had some experience, they knew about this and they had already been working on this, and coronavirus being in the same family of viruses. So they didn't have to start from scratch. They had a lot of the building blocks already. So that's why the vaccine was able to be manufactured. And also the technology is very different. They just use, they use technology differently than they used to.
So what is the message? I'm not following you here.
You need to educate people.
How do you do this in a 15-second commercial?
Okay, well, you that's not going to be a 15. Remember, there's 15-second commercials. There's your 10-second whatever. Yeah, but you also need to get doctors. I need a
TikTok on this.
I know, but you also need truly educational pieces. You need people to read. You need people on TV to talk about, listen, this vaccine was not rushed.
You put out spokespeople on talk shows, or you do videos of
doctors, scientists.
What about the people who don't, who think education is stupid and they don't believe? I mean, yes, that is helpful to see. So I would like to see Fauci get a shot. You talk about the three ex-presidents who have all said, there's 4 ex-presidents. I don't know about Jimmy Carter, but because
there's 3 ex-presidents, and then President-elect Biden and VP-elect Harris also said last night that they would be taking the vaccine and would do it on television.
They would do it on TV. Now, is that a good thing?
Yes, that's a good thing, but that's only going to work with a certain segment of the population.
But don't you think that if people see their least favorite ex-president getting a shot, that there's going to be backlash?
No, some people will realize that no matter who you are, if you like these people or don't, you're not going to be no one's going to put a president of the United States, former or current, life at risk by giving them a vaccine. So, but some people that won't convince, some people, they won't care about that. They're going to need, let's go back to the polio vaccine. Elvis Presley took a polio vaccine shot, and had the media.
See what it did for him?
Had nothing.
The after effects led to him getting to be 500 pounds.
Oh my gosh!
And dying on the toilet.
No, okay, this is not a funny topic. No jokes.
Okay. So.
No, but I mean, so it's going to, it's Elvis Presley's. It's going to be. So who and is it going to be a NASCAR driver? Is it going to be clergy? Is it going to be priests?
Certainly. Well, we're going to talk about
the Kim Kardashians of the world. I mean, you're going to have to get people. There are different segments of the population that are not going to believe doctors.
So do you think Kim Kardashian would take the shot?
I have no idea. I don't.
I think that would be.
Kim's not returning my phone call today, but I'll ask her the next time I chat with her.
And would you rather see her get it or Kanye get it? Because,
Okay. We're going back to the jokes.
I'm not joking. I'm saying, would Kanye be an effective spokesperson? Or could he come out and tank the whole thing?
Well, Kanye went off the reservation a little bit. I don't know. There was probably people who still follow.
I think he won. He won the election.
So this is how I would do it. I would have influencers who would do it. I would have reporters, and then I would have them take the shot. And then
reporters take the shot themselves.
Well, so remember when Environmental Working Group, and I was a part of it. I was a reporter there, and they had a senator, and they were trying to explain how dangerous chemicals were, and that when babies are born, they're already born with 200 and some cancer-causing chemicals. So I was pregnant with Lexi at the time.
That's our daughter.
They asked me to take part of a study. There was also a senator and a USA Today reporter and a couple other things. And then we reported on our own results. Like, oh my gosh, I had what is that, DDT or whatever that was banned in the 70s in my blood, and I had all this stuff. So yes, reporters and also social media influencers, and I would have spokespeople, and I don't want to just think of the Kim Kardashians. I'm talking priests, doctors, whatever. And then have them videotape, have them give updates every single day. And if there is a side effect, let's be transparent about it. I took the shot. I was sick for 2 days, and you give video, updates. So you can see people's journeys through this vaccine. So then they start to trust it. They may know that they may get sick for a day or two, or maybe they will have absolutely no consequences, and it'll be fine. But if I were vaccine companies, that's what I would be doing. I would be super transparent. I would get influential people that people truly trust.
So sports figures,
sports figures,
religious figures, TV figures, influencers on social media. Who we missing? I mean, and anybody else?
some doctors.
Fauci's of the world. Would you get Bill Gates, would that be pro or con? Because that could work against you because of the people who think he's
whatever. I mean, Bill Gates is going to talk about the vaccine anyway. So, and the people who he thinks, whatever, the people that think he's part of this crazy conspiracy.
So you get Ellen, Oprah.
Yeah, I mean, you get people that are that, and you're going to have to get many different people and different audiences, and the other thing is you're going to have to make it so what some doctors are, eye doctors and dentists, they're asking, hey, listen, why can't we help give the vaccine? First of all, it would help their business, because a lot of people aren't going to see eye doctors and dentists right now because of COVID. So, why don't you go in, get an eye exam, and also get the COVID vaccine? So you can have different ways to distribute. You're going to have to distribute the vaccine where the people are, and you're going to have to make it super, super convenient. So not only are you going to have to educate them about the safety and get them to trust it, but the getting it to the people where they are. Some people are not going to be able to go to their doctor's office. Not, so do you have rolling clinics and vans that go out into communities? Or do you have your dentists and other doctors who are perfectly capable of giving a vaccine?
You're going to be able to get, seriously, can you get a minus 100 degree or whatever the temperature is for the Pfizer thing on a van or a truck and get it out to the neighborhoods?
I don't know. That's above my pay grade.
You were pretty highly paid.
I don't know, but
from all the Amazon boxes that come to our house every day.
I think that Pfizer, and I think they know that they have a logistics problem, and they're probably working on, and I think they have, obviously they're working. Pfizer has to be working on how to get that vaccine because they know their vaccine's a little more volatile or fragile. All working,
and the logistics thing they've been working on for months. It's the getting people, once it's there, how do people come in and how do you get the people to come in and consume it?
And the other thing that people are not going to like, but there will be mandates. And I'm not talking, not government mandates, but there will be mandates. There will be workplaces that will mandate that you cannot come to work unless you get a COVID vaccine.
Okay. So
that will happen.
Okay. So before we get to that, that's a great point. Brilliant point. You are brilliant.
That's why I make the money I do.
Yes. Keep talking about that money. Well, I don't know what okay. So so there's talk about money. There's talk about a stimulus package that part of that there would be $1,000 per se for getting the shot. What do you think?
So wait a minute. Is that
what do you think?
Wait, is it you're getting your stimulus money anyway, but you're not getting it unless you take the shot?
I don't know. I don't know what who knows what Mitch McConnell will go for, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we have to think about everything being on the table, but that feels kind of yicky to me. Like, I'll pay you if you're desperate for money.
It's a brilliant idea. You have to, instead of just handing out money to people and which was one around the last time was the $1,200 stimulus check or whatever it was.
Yeah, but you're going to tie it to, you can't have it unless you get the shot.
Not only you get one shot, you have to get 2 shots.
Right, but you're going to tie it to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I mean, there are desperate people.
I'm getting the shot. I'll take the money. I don't give a shit. I'll take.
Well, maybe you would just get the money. And anyway, there are people who are desperate and sell their organs for money because they're desperately poor.
Okay, we're not selling organs right
I know. I'm just saying it feels icky to me. It feels like I'm being paid to, I don't know. I don't like that one.
Paid to get to public health and to overcome the worst pandemic of a century or
I would have to, it sounds icky to me. I would be open to it. I would have to hear pros and cons. But off the top of my head, it just sounds, I don't like the way it sounds. Like I feel like people who are.
Would you do it for 2,000?
No, I would do it. It's not about, I'm going to probably take the vaccine. I'll wait.
You're going to wait? Yeah, you're one of those.
Well, first of all, I'm not the first in line. there's an app that people are.
Chimeras are first in line.
Well, that's true. Well, maybe I will be in first in line, but there's an app that you literally can say like when you're going to be, like what number you are. I don't know how accurate it is, but I'm not going to be first in line anyway. There's nothing about me that would say, oh, you're going to be in the first 30 million people who would take it. So I'm not a frontline
We want you
essential.
Here with us.
I'm not an essential worker. I'm not a healthcare worker. I'm not an at-risk person.
Right.
I don't work in a nursing home.
The essential workers, that's who you should be promoting and sharing stories from.
Yes,
people
of course.
Who got the shot, these frontline workers who are among the first to get the shots.
Yes.
And then their stories should be told.
100%.
But what does the commercial look like? What do you think the commercial should look like? I think, one of the like grandparents and families getting back together, those sort of Hallmark type commercials that generate tears.
Life being normal.
You're finally able to go see grandma and grandpa. And
it's like coming out of a dark dungeon and seeing the sun again. I mean, think about how life has changed.
Scene with what's his face in Pulp Fiction like that, but that was the guy they brought up from the basement. So never mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a murder involved in that.
That was the gimp. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's got to be, you got to. There's going to be an emotional tug. I think you create emotional, powerful. You use real people's stories as much as you can.
Do you make the commercials look like the other pharmaceutical commercials?
No.
Well, some of those are pretty good. The guy who's
half of those you see
granddaughter, and then you have
there's a little thing that says this is portrayed by an actor on a lot of those.
Okay, that
no,
still sells the
no, it doesn't. You need real people
and the boner pills.
Well, that's different. This is a vaccine. No, you need real people. You need total authenticity. You can't have those gimmicky crap. No. It has to be authentic.
I like some of those commercials I look at and I'm like, I want that disease because look how happy the guy is who's taking the pill.
Okay. Well, okay. There are people, I guess, like you, but
they work. I mean, it's just,
no. But
the problem is when they come to the list of side effects, which they would have to do.
Well, yeah, but you need authentic. When you have a problem and you have such a problem and such distrust in this country of government, of medicine, you everything you do, you have to be super careful and super transparent and super authentic. Everything has to be, just on perfect pitch. And I don't think you do any of the old marketing gimmicky stuff. You can make real stories, emotional, but they've got to be true emotional stories.
But would you start first with, ads on TV, ads on bus stops and park benches and billboards and all the usual places?
Yeah, digital ads. Plus I would have
pre-roll for your whatever you're watching.
People who are going to be best too at promoting this are your doctors and your healthcare workers, your dentists, your eye doctors, whatever. Just like every time I go into the doctor, they'll say, "Did you get your flu shot?" It's going to be, those places, whether it's a pharmacy. No, I didn't.
Why?
Because I don't get a flu shot every single year. But I did have Lexi get a flu shot this year.
Once again, our daughter. You have to pay her.
But anyway, no, I haven't got a flu shot, although I would definitely consider it this year. I think that a lot of like the frontline healthcare workers that come into contact with people are going to have to educate people. I think that's where it's going to happen a lot.
Okay.
So
all right. So next group, minority communities, vastly
distrustful.
Impacted by the coronavirus in greater numbers than not. And distrustful, understandably so.
Yeah, they've definitely been more impacted by far. And they also have very good reasons to be distrustful of the government, especially as of late. They probably feel very much under attack for a lot of different good reasons.
What are you saying there? What is your point?
They don't trust the government. Look at what's been happening. Black Lives Matter. They don't.
Okay.
Rightfully so.
So one of the things you mentioned, and I saw the former health commissioner of Baltimore, was talking about this on, I think, on CNN the other night. She was saying that she was talking to a pastor in Baltimore, and he can't wait to have some sort of, I'm not sure if he was talking about an event or whatever, but he wants to lead the way with his congregation. And I think that's a great way to reach minority.
Pastors and church leaders are going to be really, also, politicians who are influential. What's his name? Tom Claiborne, the guy who helped Biden become,
South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can't remember his name off the top of my head. Very, very influential congressman.
So you have. So who do you have? Who do you turn to? Who and how do you reach out to? And how do you get people who are understandably skeptical to believe in it, other than their church leaders?
Seeing is believing. It's really, honestly, it's seeing is believing. That's why I think you get influencers in different communities, and they are showing you, and they walk the journey with you, and that's going to be the most important thing to do when you're marketing this campaign. And also taking surveys, find out, when you start to market, and find out like what people are, there's different people have different reasons for the barrier. So, all of a sudden, once the vaccine comes out, there's going to be a whole nother set of rumors about who knows what. So they're going to have to monitor the new stuff that people are saying, and they're going to have to constantly change their messaging.
Right. Spanish radio. There's so much that goes on Spanish language radio that the FCC probably wouldn't allow on English speaking radio, but they don't monitor. I'm not suggesting they do. I'm just saying that there's going to be, there's a lot that so you must keep an ear out for what's going on. You must speak the language. You must, whether Spanish or whatever language is that community speaks. You need to be on top of that, and you need to counter it. You need to make representatives available for interviews and videos and outreach to combat whatever negatives there may be, and to proceed with the positives.
Right. And I also, you have to think of people's motivation when you're looking at the messaging and the marketing, and maybe you're doing surveying. Why are people like mask wearing? Okay, so the message has been, wear your mask because it protects other people more than it protects yourself. Well, that didn't seem to work. It seems like nobody really cares that much about their community. I mean, I'm not saying everybody, but if you look in large pockets around the country, that message did not resonate. People were, Well,
wait a minute. Fox News just decided that the masks work.
That's good for them. Like, not everybody on Fox News, but the morning Steve Dorsey. Good for him.
Steve Ducey.
Ducey, whatever his name is. But anyway, but no, you have to find out what's in it for people. And some of that is going to be surveying and messaging. Some people will do it to save their grandma. Other people clearly are not wearing a mask to save grandma. That message isn't resonating. So does the message have to be changed? Does it have to be, who do they care about enough to take a shot for? Is it just themselves? Is it their 2 shots? Is it just themselves? Is it just about their health? Is about, who do they care about? Do they care about their community? Do they care about their family?
Well, it's not.
Those are things that you have to think about. But the mask wearing messaging was not resonating.
Masks, what makes you think they're going to wear? The COVID was supposed to go away on the day after the election. What makes you
obviously, we had a different administration. We had no messaging from the actual CDC. I mean, they did their messaging, but then we had counter messaging from the president every single day. Nobody, they had a party last night at the White House, and, what's her name? Melania Trump did a White House Christmas, tour today and didn't have a mask on. So, you need responsible people.
They can't get COVID at the White House.
Yeah, right. It's been a hot bed of COVID for months now. But the problem is that, so you need, the part of the problem that this became political is because it was politicized. Now, at least if you have people in the White House leading by example. And hopefully, it'll be less politicized. You're still going to have those people. Trump's never going away. So I don't know, but you're going to have to figure out a way to at least that I think will be helpful. It became political because he decided that was gave him some kind of political advantage.
All right. What about, okay, real quick, two shots. How do you market to get people not just to come in once, but they have to schlep down a second time and get another painful shot? I mean, I know I can't wait to get my shot. I'm going to cry when I get mine. I'm serious, because it's just, it's the relief that it will bring. But, how do you get some people to go back a second time? You need a theme song? It takes two, baby. It takes two.
I don't think that's going to do it. Yeah, you're going to have to remind him. You're going to have to.
I'm auditioning for the role.
Yeah, I don't know. You're going to have to with technology and portals and stuff, you're going to ping them on their text, and you're just going to bug the crap out of them and make sure that they come back. What did you just say?
I know what you said, but what did you just say with portals? Portals are these?
Like healthcare portals, your patient portals. You're going to have to, I get reminders every day of all the things I'm not doing. And
exactly right.
Right. But it's nudging me. It's like nudging me. I need to take my, mammogram. And so it's making me feel guilty. I haven't taken it. I gotta go get that exam. So
I know with my people, guilt works, but with the rest of you, with guilt,
yes, I think guilt works. I think pestering people helps. Yes.
Yeah. You're big on that.
Yes.
My Chimera. So. I'm going to come out with a new song like that. My Chimera.
Oh my gosh. What is that theme song really though?
My Sharona.
Oh, My Sharona. Yeah.
The Clash.
Yeah.
I think it's the Clash. Okay. So we don't know about how to get, what the message is for two. Other than a theme song and getting people.
Right, you're just going to have to let people know.
An earworm into their head.
Well, no, you have to explain to them that why get one if it's not going to work? One's not going to work. So if you took the time to get one, you're not protected. You have to have two. So if responsible people who took the time to get one, I'm assuming that they, are going to follow through. So it's, they're just going to have to educate people that one is not good enough. You must have two. And then you're going to have to remind them when it's that time. I think it's a month apart or 2 weeks or whatever it is. You got to come back in or you have to come back to the Safeway or wherever you got your shot in the first place.
I think it mostly isn't it like CVS, Walgreens, Duane Reade, the pharmacy. Drugstores. Probably at your local doctor, at your regular doctor.
Probably.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out. I don't really know, but.
Okay. All right. Last thing. How do you get the kids in?
Influencers, celebrities, the Emma Chamberlains of the world. They have TikTokers and,
I have the solution. I think you should get Ivanka Trump. Okay. She represents the family. The family has been, Trump wants to take credit for the shot. If he wants to go on video and then get a shot or go do it live, all power to him. Thank God. But Ivanka Trump, who she's trying to get back into New York society. New York society is, they put up signs not wanted around New York. I think, that the Ivanka Trump, this could be her entree back in.
This sounds like something out of Gossip Girl. Will Ivanka Trump crumble to the peer pressure of New York society or follow in her father's footsteps? And who am I? That's one secret I'll never tell. You love me. XOXO. Gossip Girl.
That was really good.
Not really. I don't have a high enough voice for it. But I think, Ivanka Trump could do some good here if she took it. I don't know. There are people who love Ivanka Trump.
Yeah. And God bless them. And if they want to do it, bring them on.
Anybody and the thing is, and hopefully Trump will keep continuing to support this vaccine if he, thinks that it's his accomplishment. And then, if he took it and his family takes it, you know, he has 70 million people who voted for him. So, you know, that would be a good thing.
That would be an amazing thing. Geraldo wants to name the vaccine after him. Trump vaccine. God bless.
Well, that will make some people less likely to take it. So I don't know about that.
Issue. All right. Well, I think we have thoroughly scratched the surface on this one. But
so Novavax, call us. Pfizer, if you want a marketing team.
We're saving the good ideas for.
We didn't want to give away all the good ideas, so we got about 15 more that are top secret.
Yeah, we only unveiled the very obvious ones here. Off the Marc is a presentation of On The Marc Media. Please contact us, please, at On The Marc Media on Twitter, and at Off The Marc at onthemarcmedia.com. Those are marks with a C. That's right, my parents couldn't spell. We'd be delighted to hear from all of the 50 states who are running their campaigns separately and individually, and the ad council who is got 50 million to spend, and you know we won't take.
We'll help them.
We're here to help.
And we have an honorary member of the podcast. This is Raven, everyone. She's been sleeping through it. So you're not alone if it helped put you to sleep, because she's been napping quite well.
All right, say goodbye.
Bye.
She's Kathy. I'm Marc. We're the Bickersteins. Thanks for joining us.